So some of you have asked me to show just a quick 10-minute movement practice for the morning, a 10-minute movement practice for the evening, kind of when we first wake up and when we're just about ready to go to sleep. This is not going to be a dynamic yoga practice. It's going to be more of a movement practice. But there are still these yogic principles that we want to kind of embrace. And so we want to practice being present in the practice. So we're going to be present with our body, present with our breath, and that is how we're going to greet the day. That is how we're going to end the day, by being present. So let's start with the morning. And I'm going to add the evening to this very same video so it's all collected together. We're going to start in the morning. The alarm has gone off. You've had maybe a big stretch, and you're just going to sit on the edge of your bed. Okay, so I do not have a bed in this room. So I'm going to sit on the edge of a chair, and I'm going to sit sideways to you so that you can see my spine. Here's the thing. Those of you who have asked me for these videos, you know this. You have this in you. And so everything that I'm doing is really just a suggestion. And I have faith and I trust you to modify, to add what you want, to take away what you want. Just remembering that it's a movement practice and also it's a practice of presence. And so we're staying present with the body, with what we feel in the body, the sensations in the body, and we're staying present with our breath. So let's get started. Ankles in line with the knees in line with the center of the hips, hands on the thighs, eyes closed. Don't fall back to sleep. This is the morning practice. Eyes are closed. We're just going to take a breath in through the nose. We're going to let go of the breath as if we were a deflating balloon. And when we do, we're going to let our shoulders relax. And as we're breathing, we're checking in with our bodies. How do we feel this morning? How's the energy moving? What's waking up? What still wants to be asleep? And then we can explore a little bit of movement in our neck. And this could be anything that feels useful and productive to you. You're listening to the noises in the neck. My neck is very, very noisy. But you're also really staying aware of what you feel in the cervical spine as you move. And if you end up drawing circles with your nose like I have, make sure you go in both directions. But you might not have. There might be other movements that are more useful to you. And then we're going to move into our shoulders. Now my eyes were closed for all of that, but I'm going to begin to open them because I am trying to wake up. Rolling the shoulders up and back. And then I really want to open the front of my body. I really want to open my heart center in the morning. So I'm going to draw the arms back a little bit and then maybe bring the shoulders forward. So breathing in, drawing the arms back, breathing out, bringing the shoulders forward. Maybe one more time, breathing in, drawing the arms back, exhaling, bringing the shoulders forward. Oh, I have to do one more because it felt so good. And then letting the hands rest on the knees, we can tip the pelvis forward and lift the heart. Breathe out, round the spine and lean back. So these are movements that we do in our practice when we're meeting together. So I know that you know them. Maybe one more. Those of you who want to, you could modify this one. Instead of keeping the hands on the knees, you could do the one where we stretch the arms back and then round the arms forward. That's a lovely way to open the front of the body in the morning. And then we're going to circle the torso, moving our way down from our neck to our toes. And change direction. And by now, you might be feeling a little bit more awake. You might be feeling the joints are a little bit warmer, kind of almost ready to greet the day. So we'll stand up. And we'll either come, like maybe if you're in your bedroom, there's a dresser, or maybe there's a blank wall. I'm going to use the back of my chair, but you could use any support that is safe and not moving. We're going to start with our feet and work our way up to the middle. So coming up onto our toes, bringing the heels back down. We're going to add our breath to this. So we're breathing in as we raise the heels, breathing out as we lower. So basically, all I'm trying to do is to move all my major joints. So if the internet disappears and you still want to do movement in the morning, just think about moving all the joints in your body and you'll get there. You'll do it. Maybe one more. And then we're going to stand a little bit further away and we want to hinge at the hips. Watch my spine. My spine doesn't round. How far you hinge is between you and your hip, your hamstring, and your spine. So some of you, maybe that's in the morning. Maybe this is good. I'm good. Or it could be that in the morning you have a little bit more range of motion for some reason. I don't, but you might. Anyway, no matter where you hinge from, keep your legs perpendicular to the floor. Keep your arms straight. Take the shoulder blades away from one another so you feel a broadness in your back. And then let's take this modified downward dog for a walk. Do you see how I'm keeping both feet flat on the floor? That's how we get that delightful stretch into the hip. And then coming back to center, we're going to soften both knees, walk forward. And then I haven't included a twist in this yet, but I do want to open our side body so we can reach up and over. And then over the other side. And maybe one more time. And then coming back to center, taking our feet just a little bit further apart. I'm going to move my chair so I don't hit my knuckles. This is how we're going to get our twist in. We're going to turn both feet out. The knees are a little bit soft. And this is how we're twisting. You can hear me. Maybe you can hear the taps. I'm kind of tapping my kidney area. Maybe I'll do this so you can see I'm just kind of tapping my lower back a little bit. Now you can add a little bit to this if you like. The next time you're going to the right, you pick up your left heel. Next time you go to the left, you pick up your right heel. Now this will get your heart moving a little bit. Remember, we're trying to wake up. This will increase your circulation like nobody's business. When you've had enough of this, we're going to make a soft fist. We're just going to curl the fingers on one hand and we're going to tap. This is all about circulation now. We're not trying to bruise ourselves. We're just lightly tapping. Going over to the other side. And this is very crude way of sort of stimulating the meridians. In Chinese medicine, they talk a lot about meridians. In Indian Ayurvedic medicine, they talk about nadis. These are pathways of energy throughout the body. You might tap across your chest a little bit, and if it moves you when you get to the middle, you can do your Tarzan call. I will not do that for you, but you might. Then we want to kind of hit the thigh and the hip. Now here we've got thicker skin. We might have a little bit extra padding, so you can hit a little bit harder. And then if it feels okay to do this, and maybe bending over in the morning is like a no-go zone, but if it feels okay to do this, you can bend over, go down one leg and up the other. You could also do that sitting if you want. And then over to the other side, hip and thigh. I know when you watch this, you're going to go, oh, she is nuts. But I'm telling you, this will really build your energy. Now, when you get to the abdomen, you want to be careful that you are going up on the right, across to the left, and then down on the left. So up on the right and across and down on the left. And that has everything to do with your digestive system. And then finally, just using our fingertips, we're going to lightly tap the scalp. Go figure. And when you've had enough of that, and I could do this forever, when you've had enough, we're just going to place one hand on top of the other right over our heart. And we're going to close our eyes for a moment, taking a breath in through the nose and letting go of that breath. Taking one more breath in and letting go. And then releasing the arms. One last thing I'm going to ask you to do in this practice is I'm going to ask you to choose an affirmation for your day. What is an affirmation? It is a phrase that inspires you. It's always in the first person. It's always about you. For instance, I'm going to walk through the day with a song in my heart. Every day, in every way, I am becoming stronger and stronger. My healing comes from within. Those are examples of affirmations. You find your own, or just Google good affirmations and find one that resonates with you and see if you can, maybe give yourself a week. Start with a week. Do the same affirmation for that week and see what happens. Okay, so that is our morning practice. On to the evening. Okay, you've been working all day. Maybe you've been sitting at a desk. Oh, we've got to get rid of that tension that we spent the whole day collecting. If you're lucky, you didn't, but most of us do, even us yoga teachers. So it's the end of the day. You want to climb into bed, but first you want to do a little stretching. So we start standing. Remember, we're kind of going backwards now. And we might just rock forward and back on our feet a little bit. If you want to hold on to something for support, you can. This is really helpful for grounding. If you have a day that's really kind of hardwired and kind of like that, I always sort of think of the sound that a fluorescent bulb makes before it burns out. If you have one of those days, a little bit of grounding will help. So rocking back and forth on your feet, stamping your feet just to come into this place, this moment. And then we're going to breathe in and take our arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down into a hug. Breathe in, reaching up again. And exhale back into a hug. One more time, breathing in and up. Breathing out, rounding forward into a hug. And then coming back to center, maybe finding some support. Bringing the left foot up for tree pose. So a little bit of balancing. Remember that we've just grounded ourselves through the soles of the feet. So we're going to bring this left foot up. The toes might stay on the floor. They might rest on the ankle. They might rest on the calf. I don't think that we should be pushed to bring the foot up to the thigh. It's the end of the day. If it comes naturally, if it's comfortable, then yes. But if it's not part of your practice, just bring the toe someplace lower. Maybe hold on to something. And breathe. And then let's try the other side. Bringing that hand down, bringing the foot down, bringing the other foot up. You know, you might turn around. I'm just going to move my chair to the other side. And again, the foot could be on the floor, could be on the ankle, could be on the calf. We're keeping our hips square to the wall in front of us, and we're opening the knee to the wall on our side. And again, you might just have a hand on your heart. If you're holding on to something, you might even close your eyes and just breathe. Nice, slow, thoughtful breath. And then releasing the foot, releasing the hand, doing our standing stretch that we did in the morning. Now you might discover that in the evening, you've got a little bit more hinge in that hip because the body's been moving all day. So you find your position of ease. Press the tailbone toward the wall behind you. Take your dog for a little bit of a walk like we did in the morning. This time it's a little bit more of a stroll, so you slow things down a bit. And then we can soften both knees and walk to the back of the chair. Or just come back up to standing and then sit down on the edge of your bed. With our ankles in line with our knees in line with the center of the hips, hands on the knees, the eyes are closed. We're going to drop an ear to a shoulder. And then over to the other side. Coming back to center, we're going to take the chin to the chest. And then back to center. We can turn to look over a shoulder. Coming back to center. And looking the other way. And coming back to center. We're going to stretch our right arm across our chest. I like to hook the arm into the elbow of the opposite arm. You can close your eyes, take a few breaths here. And then same thing on the opposite side, just pulling that upper arm across the chest. And then releasing, crossing our right ankle over our left thigh. I'm going to turn sideways again so that you can see my spine. So right leg over the left thigh. And if that's not available, you could cross knee over knee. Now, normally, I would ask you to sit tall and hinge at the hips. For our evening practice, just fold forward. If it feels better to you to keep the spine longer, of course, do that. But it could be a little bit more calming, a little bit more quieting to just let your spine round. And then breathing in and curling up. If you had the ankle over the thigh, now you'll have the knee over the knee. And it should be your right knee on top of the left. So we're just going to turn to our right. And again, this is not going to be a big, huge twist. You're just going to take a breath in, breathe out, and take that little turn to the right. And then breathe in and come back to center and uncross and try the other side. So starting with the left ankle on the right thigh. And again, if this is not available and it's not available to everybody, just go straight to knee over knee. Again, you have that choice. I'm encouraging you to think maybe more about rounding the spine, but if you know it feels better to keep the spine long, then that's what I want you to do. And then breathing in and curling up, we slide knee over knee and we take our twist to the left. So breathing in to sit up tall, breathing out to take that little bit of a turn. Breathing in to come back to center and uncrossing. We're going to take our feet a little bit apart, take another breath in, and as we breathe out, just take a little forward fold. So it could begin with the elbows on the thighs, and you can see that I'm really actively rounding my spine now, letting my head hang. Now, if you wanted to, you could release the elbows from the thighs and drop in just a little bit more. As you breathe in, you can feel yourself lifting away from the forward fold. And as you exhale, you might feel yourself melting a little bit more deeply into it. And then breathing in and curling up one vertebrae at a time, bringing our feet back together. We're still on the edge of our bed. We're going to place one hand on top of the other with the eyes closed. Take a breath in through the nose. And exhale. As we exhale, we're letting go of the day. Breathing in again. And as we exhale, letting the shoulders drop away from the ears. And one more time. And then sitting quietly with your breath before you crawl underneath those covers, take a moment to think of 3 things for which you are grateful about the day. Maybe somebody brought you a cup of coffee that was unexpected, or a cookie. Maybe the sky was bluer than you've ever seen it. Maybe you had to go up 101 and there was no traffic. Now that would be something to be grateful for. So take a few moments to think of 3 things that you can be grateful for about the day. And then hold that gratitude in your heart, hold those ideas in your head, get underneath the covers, curl up, and have a good night's sleep. Thank you for letting me share these ideas with you. Remember, these are just ideas and you can build on them, you can change them. You are unique and your practice should be unique as well, but this should be a nice little starting point for you. Okay. Now I'm sleepy and I want to go take a nap.